Morning, everyone. There's a bit of a delay. We'll be starting in another 10 minutes. This series is a collaborative effort by BAF and the BEST cluster. Over these months, we have been exploring the science behind the challenges that shape our everyday urban lives.
Bengaluru's got a new initiative to take on its biggest urban challenges. Let's see what it's all about.
Ever feel the pressure of big city life? Yeah, it can be a lot, right?
These challenges affect all of us. But here's the good news. Science has real answers.
So, there's a new public talk series designed to help us find those solutions together.
It's a team effort between the Bangalore Science and Technology Cluster and the Bangalore Apartment Federation.
The whole idea is to connect scientific experts directly with residents just like you.
The goal? To improve the city's resilience, its sustainability, and, well, our quality of life.
Each session is super interactive. We're talking panel discussions with plenty of time for your questions.
Over 6 months, the series is going to tackle some of the city's most pressing issues.
But, the conversation doesn't just stop when the event ends. That's a core belief here.
That's why there's a Q&A portal online, so you can ask experts questions anytime. The process is simple. You submit a question, an expert checks it out, and the whole community learns.
All this great info will then get packed into a handbook for sustainable city living.
It's really about using proven solutions.
Today, we turn our focus to another crucial pillar, sustainable energy, a topic that sits at the heart of building resilient, efficient, and future-ready cities. As our energy needs continue to grow, the question is no longer about the access, but how we produce, consume, and transition towards cleaner and more sustainable energy systems. We are grateful to our partners and supporters who make this series possible. Today's episode is sponsored by Solar Square, Sun AP Power, and IndyCube. The episode is elevated by a showcase of EV charging infrastructure featured in the exhibits presented by the Bangalore Electricity Supply Committee Limited, BESCOM. We would also like to acknowledge the continued support of the Indian Institute of Science, Socrates Foundation, Bangalore Political Action Committee, Bengaluru Post, Daily Hunt, and One India. Before we move ahead, let me take a moment to walk you through today's agenda. We begin the afternoon with registrations and exhibitions from 3 o'clock to 3:30. From 3:30 to 4 o'clock, we move into the welcome remarks followed by the keynote address setting the tone for today's discussion. Between 4 o'clock to 5:30, we'll have an engaging panel discussion along with a Q&A session where experts will share insights and respond to your questions. This will be followed by flash talks from 5:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. And finally, we'll wrap up the evening with networking tea and exhibition from 6 o'clock to 6:30, giving everyone a chance to connect, exchange ideas, and continue conversation beyond the sessions. To commence our formal proceedings, I request Shri Satish Malya, President of the Bengaluru Apartment Federation, and Shri Anantaraman, CEO of the Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster, to kindly escort our esteemed chief guest to the stage. We are privileged to welcome Shri Asit Singh, currently serving as the Member Secretary of the Southern Regional Power Committee under the Central Electricity Authority, Ministry of Power, Government of India. With 25 years of extensive experience in grid operations, transmission planning, and regulatory affairs, he brings deep expertise in shaping India's power systems. His work spans critical areas such as tariff accounting, renewable energy integration, and regional grid coordination. He has played a key role in facilitating commercial and regulatory consent across states, while also contributing valuable inputs to national and state-level regulatory bodies, including the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission and the Karnataka Electricity Regulatory Commission. Having held several leadership positions, including Director General of the Central Power Research Institute, his contributions continue to shape research, policy, operation, and the future of sustainable energy systems in the country. We are truly honored to have him with us today. To set the context for today's gathering, I am pleased to invite Shri Anantaraman, CEO of the Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster, to deliver his introductory remarks.
Good evening to all of you. I think, so starting on the time, maybe a couple of minutes late, but I think we'll catch up with a very good discussion. Thank you very much for coming here, sir. Thanks to Bangalore Apartment Federation for continuously supporting us. This is the fourth citizen dialogue. I would like to take a minute's time talking about this Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster, which we represent. This is part of Office of PSA, that is Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India. There are 8 clusters in the country, positioned in strategically deep important cities. Bangalore is being one, Delhi, Pune, Hyderabad, then we have in Jodhpur, Bhubaneswar, so it's spread out the country. The concept of having this cluster, so we sit in the intersection between science and society, preferably at the last mile, which is close to the citizen, bringing the problem statement from the citizen which they are facing, and then see how the science and technology can able to resolve it. The good part of our country and then cities which we represent, while we have many challenges in place, I think is also very good point in our country is that we have a solution with us. Now, we need to pull in that solutions and the problem which is there, and that's why the intersection which we are placing. We are an enabler, and enabler through science and technology. Now, we take a lot of problem statement, and we organize ourselves through a consortium members. We have nearly 200 plus consortium member in Bengaluru who are helping us to understand what could be the potential problem which the city is facing, and then also arriving at probably a solutions. And then we feel, I think dialogue is one of the best way forward for us to arrive at a good solution for us. We are in phases we are operating, and on the first phase we have taken, and then these problem statement has been arrived with the discussion among the stakeholders. Is we are now focusing on One Health, we are focusing on digital health, we are talking about precision agriculture, and then we are taken the sustainability. In sustainability, we are talking about mobility and water management. These are some of the areas which we are focusing in Bengaluru city, and a lot of consortium members are working with us and see how we can able to tackle some of the challenges. So in our effort to understand and then see what can be the best solution, this citizen dialogue is very important, and we have very good weightage for that. And we had a very good participation over the last 4 episodes as well, bringing out some of the best solutions among the dialogues which is happening. So we hope, I think today's session is also going to be insightful. We can able to pick up some good problem statement as well as maybe an intelligent and innovative solutions coming out of this discussion itself. So that's how we have been called, and I'm very grateful for the citizens who have come here, taking the time out, and I hope, I think your time will be very useful as we travel forward. With this, I would like to thank my good friend Satish here, who is very supportful, not only in conceptualizing this framework, but also ensuring that the communication reaches to the apartment, and then getting good representation among the citizens to come here, time and time out. Thank you very much for your opportunity, and thank you for coming here.
Thank you, sir. Following this, we will hear from Shri Satish Malya, President of the Bangalore Apartment Federation, who will share his thoughts on the vision behind this episode.
Good evening, everybody. It's my privilege to welcome all of you, and especially panelists and all. My apologies for starting 5 minutes late, because I think from MG Road to down the line, it is everything is choked because of traffic. And coming back to this event, we are talking about the energy. And last 4 episodes, we covered the solid waste, water, and other things. From BAF perspective, we have about 30 clusters in the city, about 1,450 apartments as a community. And through this 30 cluster, we are reaching out to individual owners to promote a lot of sustainable solutions, whether it's energy, whether it's water, or whether it's treated use water, or in a solid waste management, which is we are facing. So this episode very important for us, because we are in a situation now where we have promoted from 2016 onwards solar energy, but we have a challenge in the EV promotion, because there's a challenge between the individual owners and the community committee members and the policy, which I think ARC has taken care of it. The BESCOM has given some SOPs, but it's not awareness we are not able to create. So I think this will bring today's event in the panel discussion a lot of awareness, saying that what all things is possible, not possible, and we can move forward. So I'm looking forward for the keynote from the Ashish sir. We look forward from the panelists to get a lot of insight, and welcome you again. Thank you so much.
Science and policy must go hand in hand to address the complex energy challenges of our cities. To illuminate this broader perspective, it is my privilege to invite our chief guest, Shri Asit Singh, to deliver the keynote address.
So good evening. I would like to thank BEST cluster and BAF for inviting me over here and to share my thoughts. First, when I got an invitation to tell you about, share something about power, I told this I'm not the right person, because I deal in megawatts and 220 kV and above. So I'm not the right person for the topics over here. So he told, okay, you come and give a keynote address, and we can appraise you about the power sector, what is happening in the country, and what are the challenges we are facing now. So I'm here before you, just to share before you what direction we are moving now, and a much larger perspective, at the country's perspective, how we are moving. That I'll share some of the things what we are having. What I had come prepared yesterday, that we had reached the maximum peak of the country yesterday to 51 gigawatts of power. So that is the all-time high the country has met. So, and surprisingly, when we were entering into the room, and just now I got a message that we had so maybe it'll come out in news tomorrow that we are all-time high demand of the country, we are reaching at 254 gigawatts. So this is, on the installed capacity wise, if we see, the country is around 523 gigawatts as on 31st March. Out of that, 53% is from renewables now, and around 47% is on conventional energy sources. And the resource wise, how it is, we can say, same way, 53% has gone into the private sector and 47 only is in the state sector or the central sector now. So the complete generation portfolio of the country has changed. This is not the beginning. Now what are coming in next 9 years, CA has come out. Central Electricity Authority is a statutory body under Electricity Act. It has come out with a resource adequacy plan for 2034-35. In that, we are going to, our installed capacity, which is around 523 gigawatts now, will become around more than 1100 gigawatts. So 84% growth rate is expected in another 9 years. Whatever we have achieved from independence to this day, another 9 years, 84% of that has to grow in installed capacity wise. Energy wise, around 65% we are supposed to grow. So that is the type of challenges we are going to face, and how we are planning to meet. So most our policies are basically on, it is hinging on 3 of the aspects basically. Adoption of the non-fossil fuels. Then second is the electrification of the end sectors. Third is how we can encourage energy efficiency and the demand side management. The demand side management, we have not as such moved into the demand side management where the demand can contribute to the growth. Then around 15 years back, now everywhere if you will go, we'll hear the word of resource adequacy. Resource adequacy, now when 15 years when we were doing planning, we used to plan for only one of the maximum peak. If we plan for the maximum peak and we have the generation in the hand, we were able to handle the grid very easily because our generation was quite stable and it could give us the flexibility. Subsequently, with a lot of RE integration now, the generation itself has become intermittent and variable. So the variable components have increased significantly. Now the variability of load is already there. The generation itself is become variable. So how to handle this intermittency of the load and the generation also, which has become, the source available is the balance available generation with us. And that also reduces when we integrate RE at an instant of a time. This which resources can give us balance, that also reduces with time at that instant of time when RE is more. So that is the new challenges what we are facing. And so the buzzword is now resource adequacy. Earlier we were doing only one. If we plan for the maximum demand, we were sufficient. Now it is not the case. We have to run these simulations throughout the day. all 8760 hours in a year we have to run the simulations, because we know during evening we'll be getting zero solar. During high wind season, we'll get very high wind, but during off wind, we'll be getting zero wind. And we don't have any storage mechanism for now it is coming up, but reasonable technology wise and economic wise, whether we have got the resources which we can store energy. Because whatever is generated at an instant of time, whatever is my load, I have to generate exactly the same. If I am not able to generate the same generation, it will reflect in frequency or other voltage issues. If it is low, it will affect your equipment's other thing. It will affect the quality of the supply. So this is a real balance which we have to maintain each instant of time. So this is a real challenge, and hundreds of people are running, are operating 24/7 to ensure all this. So how we do the simulations for each hour. So how we can ensure our energy security, how we can have our energy independence. So these are the things which we are working on these days. So finally, what we can say is on the distribution side, what we can see in future is there may be concepts of demand side management. How you will be able to control your demand to meet the energy available, which may be available to you at a variable rate. And there may be, in foreign countries, we have got peer-to-peer trading. So peer-to-peer means we need not go to the grid level. Between you and you can trade electricity. Or in future, your car batteries may be used as a resource, because they are lying at the apartments or lying in the office doing no useful work. So that is future. Now there are not much on that. For that we require the visibility, we require the controllability. Unless those things are visible to us, what is the demand and how we can control it, it is very difficult to work. So the visibility is very much required, and controllability is also required. How you can control your load according to that signals what the electricity market gives us. So earlier, that energy rate was throughout same only. At what time you consume, it is not. Now it is a market driven rate. It varies every 15 minutes, the rate varies. So during solar time, we may get the energy at 10 paisa also. And evening we may get at 7 rupees, 10 rupees also. So it is, so rates are varying. It is like a market now. Further, what we can say is who can give us our flexibility? Because when solar comes, we have to back down something to accommodate our renewable energy. That can be given only by our conventional sources. Our conventional sources are thermal stations, but they have got some limitations. They can flex between 100 and 55% only they can flex. So only 45% margin is available to us. Otherwise, they will go out of the grid. Then they cannot come back. So we have got margin only of the 45%. So they have to give us the flex. Now, when the morning peak, when the solar comes, or evening when the solar goes down and the demand picks up, we require very fast power should come into the grid, and very fast power should go out from the grid. So those things are called the ramps. So we want good ramping resources with us to meet those demands. Otherwise, on the nuclear side, what government is now recently you might be doing, we are going for around 100 gigawatt of nuclear we are planning by 2047. And the markets you might be knowing, last 15 years, the markets have running. So power markets, only tradable energy in markets, power market is around 10%, but markets are there, which on day ahead market, I bid for tomorrow. And on the real time markets are there also for this. Those needs to be improved, customized as per our requirements. So once we get the generation adequacy, long time back, 15 years back, whenever these conventional generators were coming, where they will be coming? Either at the load centers or at the pit head, or where are resources available for. But now with RE, they have to come only at those places where my resources are available. So we have to bring that power to you, to all of you. So we require transmission systems for that. So huge transmission system plans are underway, and CA has also come out with, Central Electricity Authority has come out with a report of 900 gigawatt of renewable energy, which will be evacuated by in coming years by 2034-35. So already plans are 500, 600 is already there. Balance only has to be planned. On the distribution side also, cost optimization, things are there on how to reduce the losses, and the digitalization and the smart infrastructure may be the need of the hour for the distribution. If you want to play a definitive role in the energy, India's power sector, that may be the need of the hour tomorrow. Otherwise, even the consumer centricity has been incorporated in the policy, draft policy, which has been given by the Government of India recently, which tries to cover the areas of 24/7 power supply and consumer engagements. With this, we have got some cyber security issues also. Whenever we connect to the grid, we connect with, whenever it is there, that there is a risk of cyber security also. So Central City is coming out, whenever you will be future coming with the controllable things from some other location, cyber security aspects needs to be taken care. So, further, CA has also come out with a roadmap of, during the daytime, now we have got surplus generation. That's why the rates go down. And we have got two different objectives to be met, basically. One is the evening peak, I have to meet. During evening peak, I don't have solar. I have zero solar. During afternoon, I have to take whatever the renewable energy is coming, I have to take into my grid. So, but my evening peak, I have to keep minimum number of generators, and they cannot go down below 55% or 40% in future if with some technological advancements are there. So we cannot go below 55. So there is a need of significant storage capacity. So CA has come out that around our requirement will be around 174 gigawatt of storage will be required. So basically we are now going into two aspects only. One is the battery energy storage system, where it's a very huge, not at battery storage which we put at our homes, but battery storage which will be at grid levels, very in gigawatt terms. So out of that 174 gigawatt, and energy it wise around 900 gigawatt hour energy will be stored. If that only comes, we'll be able to meet both my evening peak also, absorb all the RE also. So these are the new things what we are planning. And even in the transmission sector, huge investment is required. Huge transmission system has to be developed. C has come out with a report, around 1,37,500 circuit kilometer of transmission lines are required throughout the country. And around 27,600 of transformation capacity will be required. So with this I'll tell, so the other things to take care of our smart meters, open access, rooftop solar. C has brought out amendments in its metering regulations. CA is also coming out with a separate regulation on renewables, which covers BEST also. CA is also coming out on cyber security regulations, which needs to be complied by all. On 12th March, MOP had come out with a draft Electricity Right of Consumers Amendment Rule 2026, which covers aspects of like demand response, time of day tariff for industrial and commercial consumers, arrangements for gross metering, other things. Prosumers above 500 kilometer need to come with energy storage. So all these steps are there, and huge targets are. So we are in a major power revolution in bit. We are at present. Other things on sustainability side, we can tell there is a life concept was introduced by India in COP26 in Glasgow in November 21, calling for global community to follow. What was the movement targeted? Mindful and deliberate utilization against mindless and destructive consumption. So we should utilize our energies with our mindfulness and deliberately, not with mindless and destructive consumption. So I wish the panel over here to have a successful deliberations. I'll also learn from what is being deliberated. I just gave you a small purview perspective on the overall country's perspective only. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those insightful and thought-provoking remarks. May I now request Shri Anantaraman and Shri Satish Malya to kindly present a memento to our esteemed chief guest, Shri Asit Singh, as a token of our gratitude and respect. Thank you, sir. We are truly grateful for your presence and guidance today. May I now request you to kindly take your seats in the audience as we move forward to the core of today's event, our panel discussion on sustainable energy for apartments, solar, EV, and beyond. Bengaluru's energy demand continues to grow rapidly, driven by urban expansion, increasing consumption, and evolving lifestyles. However, how we generate, distribute, and consume energy from rooftop solar adoption and energy efficiency to grid management and renewable integration and efficient energy management has direct implications for sustainability, affordability, and the resilience of our cities. To commence the discussion, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished panel of the speakers who bring together perspectives from government, academia, industry, and on-ground implementation. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage. We are honored to have with us Shri Srinivasappa, Director at the Karnataka Electricity Regulatory Commission, Government of Karnataka. With deep expertise in electricity regulation and policy, he has been closely involved in shaping frameworks that guide tariff structures, promote renewable energy adoption, and ensure fair and efficient functioning of the power sector in the state. Next, we are delighted to welcome Srimati Uma H.M., General Manager for Demand Side Management and Electric Vehicles at the Bangalore Electricity Supply Company Limited. She brings valuable expertise in demand-side management and electric mobility, playing a key role in advancing energy efficiency and accelerating the adoption of EV infrastructure in Bengaluru. We are honored to have with us Professor Monto Mani, Professor at the Center for Sustainable Technologies, Indian Institute of Science. His work focuses on sustainable urban systems, energy efficiency, and climate responsive design, continuing significantly to research and practice in building more resilient cities. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Srinivas Kumar, Managing Director and CEO of Sun AP Ecopower Private Limited. He brings strong industry experience in renewable energy solution with a focus on advancing clean and sustainable power system through innovation and on-ground implementation. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Santosh Kumar M., Consulting Faculty and Head of the Solar Department at the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Rural Energy and Development, Government of Karnataka. With several years of experience in solar and renewable energy systems, he has been actively involved in training, capacity building, and skill development through national initiatives. To lead and moderates today's discussion, we are pleased to have with us Mr. Partha Kundu, Gardening Council member of the Bangalore Apartment Federation, who is also the director at CHUB System. If the audience has any questions for the panel, you may simply scan the QR code shown on the screen and post them at any time during the session. The questions will be addressed during the Q&A segment at the end of the session. Our volunteers will be around to help you with that. Over to you, sir.
Hello. So we have structured the questions in different buckets. So we'll start with solar rooftop because that's the most popular theme of the day. We had most of the questions around that. And so we'll start with a very basic one. So because a lot of people have starting problem, where do we start when it comes to rooftop solar? How should we go about it? So that's a question. So what are the first practical steps that an apartment association should look for, or how should they go about it when they want to explore solar as a, so question to you, Uma ma'am, and probably then to.
Sir, for the rooftop, first we have to think that why the solar is required. Why the solar is required? See, where we are getting the source, how we are bringing the energy from the destination, from the source to destination. This is what we have to learn first. So bringing the energy from long distance to the destination, it's very difficult, and no one will be knowing that why it is, where it is coming, and how it is coming. So when you think of this, the solar energy we have to adapt, that will come to in the lesson. Like adapting the energy with the solar is starting with an application. That is what my submission is. Make an application, how much of energy is required for your association, for your common area, then that will makes you the difference of the requiring of that energy. So make it application for one to the BESCOM or to the utility where you're being done. We have the portal also. So going with the portal, everything is digitalized. No need to come to office also. There you can make an application. What is your energy is required? This is my submission with you, sir.
Thank you. Since you have been involved with a lot of education around that, anything that you would like to comment on? Mr. Santosh.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for arranging such a wonderful discussion platform here, and I'm honored and delighted to share the stage with such experienced people. So going with the question Sir asked, first practical step for the apartments. But before I answer this question, I'd like to know how many of you are from apartments? Great. Okay. So most of you would have come here to look for the solutions, correct? So before we actually talk about the solar, okay, the first step that you need to check is your electricity consumption. Okay. So you will be having your common area loads, and you will be paying your monthly maintenance bill in your apartments, right? So we need to check the common area consumption. So once we get to know your consumption pattern for 1 year, we look at the available rooftop area. So the biggest challenge here in the apartments is that there are many flats, but the available area is much lesser. So what we can do here is the apartments can opt solar for powering the common area, which can power your lifts, pumps, and common area lighting. And after checking the available area, then we have to have a feasibility study. So post feasibility study, we can check from the vendors. You can check for the code, and whichever you find it best, I think probably you can have it. And along with policies like net metering, you can reduce your electricity bill. And as far as MGRD is concerned, I'm from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Rural Energy and Development, which is under Government of Karnataka. Here in our organization, we have been giving training, skill development programs, because the government has huge target where they have 500 gigawatt of renewable energy has to be generated by the year 2030. And among that, 280 gigawatt has to be generated from solar. So currently we are at around 140 gigawatt, that's like 50%. So in order to achieve the target and also to increase the installation in urban areas, apartment plays a major role. It's because they consume a lot. At the same time, if they can also generate the power, that will definitely reduce the burden on the discoms, the distribution companies like BESCOMs. And also, it will financially benefit the apartments. So since they have huge target, we require a lot of skilled technicians in solar, and MJRD plays a role there. And we not only train technicians, we train especially solar installers. Okay, so and we also been training entrepreneurs where along with engineers, the solar installers play a major role. So just on the paper, if we fix the target, that is not going to be working out. We need field level installers to achieve the target. So
right. So thank you for the detailed explanation.
Thank you,
both of you. What kind of payback periods, because this solar being a large capex item, what kind of payback periods do you think can be achieved with annualized savings by apartments? So Mr. Srinivasappa, if you could throw some light on it, depending on what you've seen in apartment kind of scenarios.
Yeah, as everybody knows, we need electricity for sustenance also. So for the apartment buildings, the common areas always, use electricity from the grid. But lift and water pump and also the common area lighting, it requires around, 10 to 20% of the total load in an apartment. So presently it is being served from the grid. So people can make use of the available technology, available solar rooftop installations. They can definitely save energy. They can become, self-reliant and self-sufficient. Now, because the costs have coming down for the last so many years. So when we thought of, introducing solar during 2010, when grid scale solars were being, actually promoted, by that time already solar rooftops were, being installed. But at that time, what was the tariff? You see, it was around 16 rupees per unit, per kilowatt hour. Now, because of the computation, because of the innovation in technology, costs have come down drastically. So therefore, now it is very easy, very good, and also easy for adoption. And the government of India, government of Karnataka have also given lot of, incentives. So KERC as a part of, promoting the solar, we have also issued regulations. Every year we are issuing orders, so fixing the tariff for net metering, this thing. So in the 2016 also we have issued, we actually got some problem because in the absence of implementation regulations, there were practical difficulties and also procedures were not there. So we issued some regulations for implementation of the solar rooftop, installations. So then also year on year for a control period, we have been fixing the regular tariffs through orders, issuance of orders. So definitely they can recover their investment within 5 to 6 years. So it is better that, this option is very good. So they can recover the cost within 5 to 6.
Within 5 to 6 years is what you think is practical.
Yes, yes.
So as a practical implementer of such systems, what has been your experience, Mr. Srinivas?
Yeah, Doubt yeah, thanks to the organizers and BAF for inviting me. So as a company at Sanepi Eco Power, so we are more enablers. So we work with over 150 EPCs. We consult and we do the design. And I had the privilege of working for the first initial few systems in Karnataka. So for an apartment, I will also take part of the earlier question also, which you mentioned of how somebody goes about in an apartment. I myself stay in an apartment and I've been part of managing committees and all, and it is a very big challenge. And the first basic is that the energy consumption is going up year by year. For any apartment, the maintenance cost is going year by year, and energy plays a key part. So the maintenance bill of an energy, I would say, just now you mentioned that the pumps and motors and STPs and all are there. They generally consume around 55 to 70% of any apartment among all the inductive loads. Let it be motor pump set, let it be lifts, let it be STPs and all that. And then you have the lighting loads. And out of that, daytime is only around 30 to 35%. Rest is around the night when you predominantly use. Whenever somebody puts at solar, obviously you start with the electricity bill, as he mentioned. That gives you the consumption. But that gives you the consumption over a period of a month. It does not tell you what you are consuming during the day, what you are consuming during the night. It doesn't give you a breakup. So it just gives a very high level reading. What I would suggest is please take a trained person who understands how the energy audit or how the energy perception is done, because it is value for money proposition. So you need to understand first, work with energy efficiency, because most of the apartments are using high power consuming motors. The efficiencies are very low. So first set that right. There are a lot of VFD drives and all available wherein you bring down your actual electricity bill first by energy efficiency, which is a low cost solution. Once you understand that, then look at what is your consumption and what is the periodic. You need to have your maintenance guys do an hourly measurement. Those readings can be taken. Once you understand that, then you decide what is solar metering. Today solar is doing a net metering. Everybody should not use it as a source of income. They think that if I export to the government and government pays me 3 rupee 8 paisa or 3 rupee 80 paisa and all that, that is a wrong way to approach it. You are not in the business of income generation. You are in the business of savings. So once you do that and you're understanding that my daytime load, I'm doing it and this is the max I can do, then in that case you decide what is the size of the solar power plant should be. The next question comes, so if suppose during the, let me take a typical 100 kilowatt system for an apartment, say around 100 flats. I'm just averaging it out. Maybe many people have a 3 kilowatt sanction load or a 5 kilowatt sanction load. It will go to 300 kilowatt or 500 kilowatt. The common area is generally 60 kilowatt, or in terms of HP, they may be having it 120 HP and all that. Figure out that first. That is the starting point. That is where the maximum bill is there. And most of you are on LT2A connection until you are on EV, which is an LT6 connection. So if you are there, first figure it out. That is the starting point for putting solar. The next point is post-solar what? Every year the bills are again rising, and we are blessed in Karnataka, and actually I should thank AERC and the other agencies that they have not introduced time of day for residential yet, but it is inevitable. Just now, as Mr. Asit was saying, it is smart metering. If you have to grow, it is distributed, and KERC did a very good job last year in redefining rooftop solar as distributed solar PV. Many people do not understand the meaning of it or why this change has come about. The definition itself has changed. It is no more just rooftop solar, it is distributed. What it means is you are not just limited to the roof. You can now put anywhere in your apartment. You can put it on your clubhouse, you can put it on facade, you can put it on compound wall, but it has, if you're putting on the ground, it has to be elevated 8 feet. These are the basic rules. That is a major change KERC has brought about, benefiting the apartments. There are 1,450 apartments just mentioned by Mr. Malya. They are big contributors, 150,000 people average if you are staying. If you are reducing your energy bill, start with your house, bring down your house load. Just because you have a 3 kVA sanction, 5 kVA sanction, don't go about using the full load. LED lights, everything helps. Second, you are using an inverter ACs, all that helps. Bring down that load, common area energy efficiency, go for solar. Now the remaining part you are left out. You are still continuing to pay a bill which is 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs a month. Where does it go? It is nighttime use. STPs work throughout the night. Lifts work throughout the night, do not in the same ratio. Overhead tank pumps work throughout the night. I would suggest though going ahead, I think surely Parth has got questions on that. I would suggest a combination of 3 things for an apartment to bring down their net bill to 0, which also include under the distributed PV policy, the virtual net metering. That is another thing which is left out. You're focusing on net metering. Look at virtual net metering, which is again introduced by KRC. A lot of good policies have been brought out by the government, but somebody has to enable it. Many people just go to an EPC and want a solution, and they compete amongst themselves without giving a solution for the apartment. You guys are not looking at a solution. You are only looking at, look at a solution to come down to net zero. Electric vehicle charging, somebody mentioned that it is becoming a challenge. I would not say so. The reason is any user, any apartment resident worries how much his maintenance is going up. I'm paying 4 rupees a square feet, then it's going 5 rupees a square feet. I am not having an electric vehicle. Why I should be part of that infrastructure? These are all the common questions, and it is genuine too. I would not disagree because I've attended many general bodies and these are correct. The managing committee is interested to work out a solution. The solution, I would say, is combination of virtual net metering, solar, and energy storage. Reduce your diesel generator. Diesel generator is another white elephant in any apartment because it is an indeterminate cost. Every year diesel costs are going. Today you have an insecurity of diesel availability. You have pollution. You have noise. So many issues are there. So combination, I would say going ahead, if you have questions in that line, I can answer that. But solar plus virtual net metering plus storage, your apartment bills, I think, would come down by 90%. That's my thing. Any detail, I think, while Parth is taking up, I can say that.
Very detailed kind of, touching on several topics, which are all very important. I have a specific question now, which is from one of the societies. So they're saying that we have installed solar in 2020. And however, due to whenever we have BESCOM outages in our locality, even though we produce enough energy throughout the day, we cannot export energy. So can we use solar to synchronize and operate DG in the daytime so that we can save diesel by utilizing solar, whatever is generated on the premise? Would you be able to throw some light on this, ma'am?
Yes, you can do it. You have 2 types of doing the thing. One is you're using for the solar as a string inverter. The string inverter is always looking towards the grid. So whenever the grid is off, your solar energy will stop. So better if you want to go with the solar, please use the hybrid inverters. So that whenever there is a grid is off, you can use this battery as a reference and it start to generation, solar start to generate. So by the time you can utilize this energy as a backup energy. The other thing, you can connect your solar rooftop along with your generator also. As KRC has already been given a chance to go with a generator, 30% you can utilize the generator energy as well as the solar energy. Again, the solar energy will be sensing towards your generator. So the solar energy start to generate and you can use the 70% of energy as a solar energy for your backup thing whenever there is a grid is off.
Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, okay. Not enough is understood of synchronization of solar rooftop with diesel generators. So I think there is some gap.
No, there is a technology that is developed. Like, one switch is there where you can use that switch and you can use that as all vendors will be knowing the thing how to synchronize your solar rooftop along with your generators. So that is the technology.
No, in terms of the associations being able to understand what are the benefits out of it.
Yeah, so that benefits whenever there is a grid off, naturally your solar generation will stop. At that time you can't use the energy which is during the solar daytime. So when you use this generator as a part, when you say that you want a generator to be utilized, so 30% of the energy can be utilized from the generator as a sensing energy for the solar to develop its energy. So this makes for the apartment common area that can be utilized with this off-grid. Means whenever there is a no grid, they can use the energy of the solar.
And can that be in any way combined with battery storage?
Yeah, of course, you can have that, but at time till today, the Regulatory Commission has not been allowed for BESS or any battery. But you can use the hybrid inverter, where you have a little bit of the battery, not completely to the energy of requirement. It is only for the sensing of the solar to generate the solar energy. That's
okay, all right.
So if you want any awareness of this, how to use this higher generator along with that, we can arrange for that. BESCOM can arrange with one vendor so that can be help for you to go ahead with this.
That will be really nice.
Yeah,
So
we will
it
help for that.
Disseminate that information
Yes,
all
sir.
across.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you, ma'am. So yeah, it was more on battery storage. So because during the night times or on cloudy days we have a problem with generation, right? So how could we kind of leverage battery storage systems, and how could it coexist along with rooftop solar, which is with net metering? So Professor Monto, if you could, have you done any work on this where it is like, I know it's a little early to kind of put it on regulations, but
the question is on net metering, rooftop
how
solar.
does battery storage fit in with whatever is existing currently, with what is allowed by regulations, be compliant with regulations, and still kind of help with those?
You probably would be more.
Okay. Now, when the solar is there generating power,
right,
grid should be there. So grid should be connected. So this inverter works only when the grid is available. Otherwise, it won't. So when the grid is off, so inverter stops. So therefore, 2 years back, we lot of suggestions came that because of this hybrid, and also Karnataka Renewable Energy Manufacturers Association (KRIA), they came out with lot of suggestions, saying that if we allow in the regulations or also in the orders, so permission of that hybrid inverter, it will work. Even the grid is off, it will work. So therefore, we also thought of including in the regulations, in the orders, so that so whenever the power is up, you can use this. Otherwise, what is the use of it? Maximum usage should be there during the time of solar hours. If the power fails from the grid, then you will not be using that. It will become idle.
Correct.
So, yeah. Therefore, we need to have that hybrid inverter. So, offload inverter per that the battery is also connected. So, taking the battery reference from that, so inverter works. So without power also, grid power also.
Sure. Any practical challenges that you see there, Mr. Srinivas?
No, these solutions are already available in the market. What you're talking about. See, the hybrid inverters are limited by size because the maximum hybrid inverters in the market go up to 125 kilowatt. And many of the apartments, the sizes are, if they are much more than the hybrid inverter doesn't help. Second is that most of the apartments are now only putting for common area usage. As I just mentioned earlier with the virtual net metering, they get a share. Individual apartments can also shave off their electricity bill if they are part of virtual net metering.
We have
a separate discussion on that. So coming back to the primary question, one working with the diesel generator and second working with the battery. Diesel generator, anyway that power cannot be exported. So you are only starting a diesel generator as a backup. So if it is solar, it can trigger. If grid is not there and net metering is on and solar power is off, it triggers the diesel generator to start and the diesel generator powers the apartment. Diesel generator power can never be exported. As I said, it's not on the same bus bar. So there is no point in talking about a diesel generator contributing to the grid. It is only for your internal consumption. Coming to energy storage also, it is again part of internal consumption. That is, it cannot go to the grid. No such power can go to the grid. So you're talking about an online UPS. So either it is coming through diesel generator or it is coming through batteries. So these technologies are available. It can be seamless. Actually, one or two challenges for an apartment. Many of the apartments have children and elders and all who get stuck in the lift when the power goes off. And grid is not there. Not just solar I'm talking about safety also. When grid stops or the solar stops, the lift stops suddenly. Many apartments don't have any facility how to mitigate there. If children are stuck inside or senior citizens stuck inside, they go for expensive solutions from the lift vendors for bringing the lift to the nearest floor. If you go for energy storage, the changeover cycle is less than 20 milliseconds, whereas your regular changeover of a diesel generator is 10 seconds. Best case I'm saying. So you can easily put energy storage, avoid the lift problems, solve your changeover problems, excess energy of solar, instead of exporting, store it in the energy storage system. Again, the rules provide for that. And you can also have your own, again, I'm preempting myself, there is no TOD, but as I said, it is inevitable. But anytime time of day comes in, it is there in a few other states, use that also. This, one of the subjects which I understood from BAF was looking at the future also. How am I safeguarding myself in the future? I would say that is the way to safeguard in the future.
Great. Thank you. This is more on individual flat basis. So are there any solutions that, like, Tesla had these home solutions where you could put something on the balcony. So there might be some commercial solutions coming, but do you think this can coexist, and where you can have even individual flat owners coming in with a net metering basis what they generate on their let's say balcony or on the walls?
Yeah, already it was explained. KERC has actually changed the SRTPV order into a DSPV, distributed solar power plant.
Right.
Okay. In that you can use the solar panels on the facade also, on the walls also, on the roof, and also on the ground at an height of about 8 feet. Okay. Now if the individual owners in a plot, if they want to use the solar for their installation, so would they be having any space on the roof?
On the balcony probably.
Balcony, yeah,
some
definitely.
to whatever extent they can.
Whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever extent they have, they can make use of that facility. Definitely they can install. They can also go for net metering. So there is no prevention of that facility for them also. Not only common area loads, but individual loads can also be taken care of. So therefore this is a very good move taken up by the KERC. Yeah.
Sure.
I'll just chip in from the opportunity every apartment owner will have.
Right.
See, you have to face the sun, right? Which essentially means a south-facing facade. So if your apartments are north-facing, they may not have that much heat gain. So opportunity to gain solar is not much. Second issue is that our consumption and generation, actually there's a big mismatch. Indian households, if you see, early mornings is when we run the mixies, the geyser. That's when we don't get solar.
Right.
So I think there we need to sort of have some lifestyle sort of a change or appliance, say slow cookers or something like that, which will offset, and if you can directly consume when you're generating, the need for storage goes down. How we do that, we'll have to see.
That will take probably some lifestyle shifts, or bringing in more awareness around that.
Because right now there's no bar on how much one should consume. It's only increasing. Even me, for example, my lifestyle has remained the same, but the appliances I have to indulge in, I would put it, has only been increasing. So my personal per capita energy consumption is only going up.
Right. Uma had said.
I want to say that for the rooftop, for the individual household with the apartment, it is not a right thing to put in the balcony. It is not a safety aspect. As a mother, if I am a mother, I wanted to see that my safety with the kids is not to touch any electrical equipments. So putting an inverter or putting a module in the balcony, it is not a safety as a mother. I should think of as a mother. Later on has an energy satisfaction. So this is my perception that safety is very much important. Even though you can install the thing, has a regulatory commission leaves the order or it may be given, but safety is very much important. As in the thing of the apartment, and whenever there is a fire, this thing, you don't have any safety at all. It's a very congested part. Like, in the apartment, balcony is very congested part. It is not like an individual household you are having. My perception is that don't put in the balcony.
Balcony.
Yeah. That is for the safety thing.
Right.
I don't know how much
True, true.
Thank you.
Very true. So there's another thing. I mean, okay, we have been talking about solar, but is there any?
I'm sorry, he's my guru actually.
No.
We are both.
Again, it is
No,
subject
I
to
think
adherence of all safety
absolutely,
norms.
absolutely. So technically, there might be okay thing to do, but safety-wise, it may not. Obviously,
it is
so
okay.
I think both are important.
Technically, it is possible. Okay.
Right.
Then finding that solution, if it is feasible for you, so taking care of all the safety aspects and safety standards confined.
I think safety comes first, and then comes the tech.
That's why we used to never allow this, installation of solar panels on the ground in the residential buildings. We were only allowing it on carports. So this subject, we consumed lot of time.
True.
True. That's why now confirming that safety is definitely not compromised, so it can be taken care of.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Like quarrel with each other, like he is actually my guru. So we always used to say that first is the safety, then we'll go with an according to the thing how we can do with the market.
Very true. Very true. Very true. One question, while we are always talking about solar, but on a apartment level, especially with the high rises, is wind energy ever explored, or even Professor? I mean, have you kind of looked at even at the IAC level or at a regulatory level?
Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Because we have also thought of introducing this like solar rooftop. We have also have a possibility of installing this aero turbines from 0.5 kilowatt to 1 kilowatt or something like that.
Right.
But it has not grown up. It is at a very nascent stage. So nowhere these rooftops are there. Only for experimental basis, you can see there. Okay. Therefore, we have also come up with the regulations last year itself. When she was there in the commission, she only drafted that policy. Okay. So now they are there, but we have not determined the tariff yet. So like solar rooftop, this can be moduled. So therefore,
so it's still work in progress. But will come there as
yes.
Probably
but regulations are in place.
Okay.
Now we would like to see any use cases. If somebody has erected some rooftop post, so we will have to take the data from them.
Okay.
What is the CUF, that is capacity utilization factor from these aero? Because in cities you don't find much wind velocity because of the buildings, lot of obstruction.
Right.
If you go to some open fields and rural areas, definitely that is feasible. In cities, it may not be of such use.
The other side is that, okay, while solar is available during the daytime, this is available during night also. So that
maybe
could be an exploration.
Towards evening and also towards night. So this may be available. This is good. But in cities like Bangalore, this may not be practical.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it is technology is not grown up.
Got it. Okay. So we have some questions on EV now. So all large societies have several levels of car park in the basement, and that is the only place where you have allotted parking for the owners. Surface level is mostly for visitors. So in that case, is it okay to kind of have EV charging in the basements? What are the regulations? What are the restrictions?
You have not mentioned anything about that whether it is in ground level or it is in a stilt level or it is in basement floors. But when a fire department, if that is a case, but we will have to follow those guidelines. When Satish Malya and his friends met the KRC officers, including me, during almost 2 years back, they came up with lot of suggestions, and they wanted us to issue some orders for introduction of these electric vehicles especially in apartments, because there the issue of consent from the association for individual flat owners to install these electric vehicles is required. Right. And in some apartments this space is very, very limited. So in common areas, although we have issued some order to their best satisfaction, and I think it is going to be also continued in our regulations. We are actually coming up with some modifications and amendments to the conditions of supply and regulations. So we are going to include that also into these regulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as of now, we have a challenge in terms of, probably from a fire department perspective, of not being able to utilize the basement parking.
I don't think have you faced any such restrictions from the fire department? So whenever we say the transformers and also panel boards, it need not be installed in the basement, because when there is a rain and it
Flooding
is
and,
danger of submerging. Therefore, we have actually mandated not to use these transformers and also the electric panel boards in the basement. So it should be located on the ground floor only.
So my submission is that for the fast charger is different. When you have a slow charger, you can allow with a 3.3 kilowatt slow charger, where it is very safety and it is very viable also. See, when compared to e-mobility, bringing the diesel or a petrol from a lengthy way of the thing,
Right.
you have it at your right place. Why can't you use your EV chargers? So allow them to use the EV chargers at the space. Let them use it with a low kilowatt, not with a higher fast chargers.
Okay.
Slow charger is very safety and also it is very easy accommodated. And we also displayed the EV charger in our BESCOM stall also. You can see that it is very easy and it is easily mounted on the wall also. So with the if you want a safety, you have fire extinguishers also. Like it doesn't catch the fire at all. My suggesting. So please allow them to use this. Only association is making a thing that not to use by the individual consumers. Let them use it. What is there any hurdles that you're facing with individual people for using an EV charger at their space? No, nothing.
I would suggest that the apartment owners association or Bengaluru Federation, they may take up this subject with the fire department, and in consultation, in coordination with the BESCOM's advice, so they may allow. They will have to take it up with the concerned.
So my thing is 3 kilowatt, 3.3 kilowatt is very smaller thing.
Hello, that's
it is just like a load of a household.
That's okay, but they are not allowing. They are
That's
actually
what
restricting.
you should make it a
You will
broad
have
way.
to convince the department, fire department, that this is safe. So for that, you need the assistance of BESCOM to convince them.
We are here to help you. That any time if you call, sir, we are there to help the thing.
Right. So I think thank you for your volunteering to help us in kind of taking this further. So we will definitely make use of that. So there is also this thing, especially in the larger apartments, which are existing apartments. Newer it is easier, but larger apartments where there is a lot of back-end electrical infrastructure which has to be expanded to kind of give support individual EV connections to the places across different places, whether we talk about basements or even in the ground level. So how does that, is there any kind of suggested way from BESCOM on how the reworking of the electricals can be done, because these are all pre-existing things?
Sir, so first we'll check the site condition, how it is, then we can give the plan for that.
Okay.
Each individual site we will check, because at this area we can't say that this will be the correct solution or this is the solution. We'll check the site condition. According to the site condition, we'll give the plan.
Okay.
So that will be better, I think.
So when an association approaches BESCOM,
Yeah.
so
If possible, the existing infrastructure can be shifted to somewhere else.
Okay.
And this can be accommodated there.
Okay.
So within the existing facility only, we need to do these things.
Right.
So this can be done.
Yes.
Sure.
Please allow to use the electric vehicle and also the charger. Without this thing, you can't make an e-mobility in India. So please help in the people to let them use the EV chargers in their apartment. In their space that is given by the association.
So I think there is a recent gazette of 2024 where the EV charging guidelines of 2020 have been amended by Ministry of Power, and then it is either one common connection for the entire society to be given from the for the association, or individual owners. It cannot be a hybrid of the two. So that's a little restrictive if the association does this on a community level, and some people want to kind of have their individual connections.
Those are in draft stage, I think.
I think
Those are not
2024
finalized.
the gazette has come out. So I don't know whether it is implemented, not implemented.
BESCOM
Has it distribution licensee, we have to say that, sir, we will follow the regulatory commission given orders or the condition of supply or for arranging the power supply. Once the regulatory commission changes, that is all in the draft, I think. Once the commission says this is the thing, how we have to go according to the grid facility that is within the state of Karnataka, we have to follow that. Because at the lower voltage level, we have to follow the condition of supply of the regulatory commission.
Got it. So, just as a thumb rule for people who are trying to kind of work out for an existing facility, existing building, what would be the ideal EV charging capacity to plan for, let's say, 200 apartment unit society, 500 up to 1,000 kind of thing? What would be a rough way? Because I know it is growing very rapidly. It also depends on how much incentives are given or taken away in budgets. So there has been some changes recently as well. So what would be the right way of going about it for a planning, at least with a 3 to 4 year kind of a window? Because it's very difficult to kind of for an association to reinvest every year, right, on this.
Okay, you want to establish your charger, right?
Yeah. So what would be
in the apartment?
Correct.
Like if you want a, I'll submit with you that if you want to invest by the association is one part.
Right.
Otherwise, if you want any charge operators to be invest in your apartment is the other part. If you, I'll tell you one model. If you want to go according to your association will invest on the EV charger. Then you have to make a plan for the 4-wheeler as well as for the 2-wheeler. The 4-wheeler now at a present is CCS2, which is the fast charger. That will around 60 kilowatt load. And the slow charger you can use with the 12 kilowatt for the 2-wheelers and all. So we want to make a space for the 2 4-wheelers, means one charger will have 2 guns, okay? If you want off one charger, if it is 200, this thing, as per the CEII, if you have a 200, I mean 40 people are using EV vehicle, one charger has to be there in their area.
200, is
yeah, no, for 40
40, okay.
Now when you compare, like, more than 200, 300 people who have a EV chargers, I mean EV vehicle, we have only one EV charging stations. So this is the concept. Like if you have a 40 people are there in your apartment using an EV vehicle, make one charger in your apartment. That is enough. 60 kilowatt of load. That is having 2 guns.
Okay.
And 40 cars.
40
This
cars.
is how you have to make an idea of that. And the other who are using the 12, I mean, so 2-wheeler, that can be used with the 12 kilowatt. That is enough.
Again with 2 guns.
Yeah, two guns.
Okay.
That if you have more than 100 2-wheelers, you can use 2. That is enough.
Okay.
This is the plan. You have to make it. The one model is your investment. The other model is if you want to invest by the CPOs, like charge point operators.
Right.
We are the nodal agency. BESCOM is a nodal agency. We are also a nodal agency as well as the CPOs also.
Okay.
So we also establish EV charging stations also. So one thing is, if the CPO is want to establish the EV charger in your apartment, we have another portal called the land aggregator portal, where you can say that this is my land. I have this much of land. You can come and place your charger. We make a facility. BESCOM will make a facilitator has to use your land by the CPOs.
Okay.
At the revenue sharing model. So you will have a revenue sharing model of minimum of 1 rupee as per MOP. That for per unit you will be given as a rent basis.
So does that mean that it has to be open to non-residents also, or it should be?
So that is left to your association.
Oh, that's open. Okay, all right.
If the people wants to go with your business, if you want a business, you can leave the outside people. There is no mandatory that
I
it
think
should
for
be.
smaller societies that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
For larger societies, they would have enough.
They don't
people
leave you
in it.
outside
Right.
people, right?
True.
And
true,
it is
true.
also safety also.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
No, that's a great thing. Okay. Just because again a starting block challenge. So how to select a reliable EV charging vendor? So Uma ma'am, you talked about 2 models, right? So one is, I mean, these are I think more people will be more comfortable to coming to BESCOM and they're setting it up rather than going to one vendor, not knowing whether they would be there tomorrow or not, because there's a lot of startups in the game, right? So what would you recommend there?
That's what I told you, no? If you want to invest, that is the safety thing. If you invest by the association, that will be very easy to handle also, to make an AMC also. Like O&M is very much is required. There will be some failure also, that you can use your OEMs for repairing the thing. That is my suggestion or my submission with you that go with your association partners only, not with other CPOs.
Right.
Like, that makes you, like, as a part of the association, you have to think the safety of your association.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Then we come to the financing part of it. Now, this is a roadblock. I mean, because these are not, profit earning kind of institution, right? So, because it's basically for the maintenance that the association collects money. Now, when it comes to a large capex like a solar rooftop, so they have challenges of to where to put in get the investment from. Are there any green investment at a subsidized rate which we could look for? Or kind of
PM Surya Ghar is there for RWA, 18,000 per kilowatt.
That's a subsidy.
Subsidy.
But in terms of the investment itself.
You have to search
Every
the
bank is offering.
No, sir, they're not giving for the
Hello,
association.
That's the challenge.
They
want the
association
members to be personally liable for that loan.
Yes.
So, which not many people are willing to
Correct,
sign.
because you are not owning that this facility.
No, one thing in Bombay they have done, sir, like they have made an MOU between the partners in the association. MOU is done that whatever the maintenance charges has coming from the apartment, that will be given as an EMI for the bank loan, by signing by individual people. So that MOU, that if they become any defaulter on those things, some condition have been put. If the becomes a apartment association become a default in paying this amount for the bank lenders for the individual thing, then so much of charges will be given. I mean, so much of amount will be given to the individual consumer, like the individual association who has signed for the bank loan. See, if I'm a individual consumer of an association, I will sign on my behalf that I'll I'll take a loan and I'll give to the association. So for that, one MOU has been done from the Bombay Federal Association. Just you can check it with that so that you can get the loan for individual as an individual consumer.
I see. Because this remains a large starting block for many
This
people.
is what we have last year, what we have read from in this thing.
Okay. Okay.
Some one MOU is done. I can share you that glimpse of that if you want.
That will be helpful, I mean, so that we can at least start discussions. The next point is that while for whatever is during the net metering, whatever is being put back into this thing is given back at around 3 rupees per unit, right? So, which this saying is quite low compared to the tariff which is being charged, and some people are charged above a certain capacity. You are charged as per commercial as well, right? So, is there a consideration to make this a little better so that the payback becomes faster for whenever there is excess generation?
Correct, but beyond, so this is basically how to fix the tariff. Tariff is being fixed, based on the capital cost. So current market rate, what is the per kilowatt or per megawatt cost? So if I avail a loan to install my solar plant, I need to pay the interest on the loan, and also I earn depreciation, O&M, everything, okay. So that is there, because capital cost per megawatt, per kilowatt, what is the available market rate? So that, based on that only I can fix the tariff. Beyond that, if I fix more tariff for this net metering or gross metering, okay, what happens? What happens, if I fix more tariff, because incentivize, you are asking, incentivizing the rooftop solar installer, okay. What happens if I am, fixing more tariff than the appropriate? So the rest of that, has to be shared by all consumers. It should be socialized to everybody. So therefore, that's why we are not in that, because that's why some incentives are given. Central government is offering that under PM Surya Ghar. So those things are there. So therefore, other facilities can be extended. So example, BESCOM has actually come out with this standard operating procedures. There, even for under PM Surya Ghar, even this facilitating fee and also this registration fee is waived up. and also up to 150 kilowatt, no technical feasibility is required. Okay, no PPA is required. It is part of the application forum. There are a lot of these improvements have been suggested and also incorporated. So therefore, under that we have been facilitating the rooftop installers to go for this. So promotion as a promotion, as he has already mentioned that because of this peer-to-peer, that new concept is coming in now. Karnataka, we have been in consultation with some service providers, and some pilot projects are going on. So in that, excess energy can be sold to some neighbors. So at a mutually agreed tariff, or else some higher tariff than the BESCOM tariff. So in that sense, the recovery of investment is faster. So that method is it is yet to come, but it is under. But that's a very great concept that will actually come into Karnataka. So in other parts of the country also, that is being under this process only. But in Karnataka, it is in advanced stage. If P2P comes into picture, every rooftop owner will feel great, because he can recover the cost
investment.
Otherwise BESCOM per net metering, they will get around you said 3 rupees 86 paise up to 10 kilowatt, and 3 rupees 8 paise per ground mounted, and yeah. So therefore P2P catches up. Definitely there is a scope.
Got it. So I think that is going to change the scenario quite a bit, actually.
I want to add one point in that. Why it is lesser tariff, 3.08, when compared to the retail supply of the BESCOM, correct?
Right.
See, we will make a PPA, power purchase agreement, which is very for 25 years, considering that you are my consumer. You want an energy, I have to give you energy.
Right.
So where I have to get the energy from? I have to get from other source, like KPCL or from the central. As sir told, you have to bring the energy from such a long distance to here to reach out to you. So what is the transmission line?
So T&D losses.
T&D loss. What is how the investment is going on? What is the power purchase agreement? What is the unit of per unit? So this makes my retail supply tariff to C&I or to you is 5 rupees or 6 rupees
so
or
the
7
differential
rupees.
is there.
That is the difference. What about the solar energy? Where you're generating? You're generating in your house. You're giving into the grid, which is next to you only. You're not bringing any transmission line.
Anyway.
No loss, nothing, distributed energy. Then why the comparison of this energy cost to that energy cost? It is completely different. That's what I'm telling you. Solar, at the later stage of your kids or your forthcoming family, that should be concentrated with your solar only, not with your fossil energy or the energy which is coming from away from our state. So my consideration with this type of comparing should be stopped. Like, don't compare your solar energy with the other source of energy.
Got it.
So
Got
3 rupees 08 paisa, has sir told, it is a capital cost of your investment. For that, you have to get a return. For that, you have to consider this as an utilization of energy, not as a business.
I fully agree with her, and also I fully agree with Srinivas Kumar, who pointed out initially that it should be aimed for self-consumption.
Exactly. It is not for selling.
Not for commercial.
So size it right is important.
Yeah. That's why. So we have to self-sufficient first. So for us only that is beneficial. Otherwise, that is there. Whenever there is no requirement for me to use that energy in the house or in the commercial industrial establishment, I can sell it to BESCOM. That is allowed. Okay. Only excess energy goes to that. But primarily that is useful for my self-consumption, to reduce my cost. Electricity bill, I have to reduce that electricity bill. Yeah, that is the requirement.
True.
Yeah.
Correct. So my next question is to Professor Monto. As a premier research institution, how do you see IASC influencing either on the consumption side, the consumers, or the regulatory bodies or the distribution agency with your the kind of research and the work that you do?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I am involved with both the Bureau of Indian Standards and the National Building Code.
Okay.
But looking at it from the sustainability angle.
Right.
So as academics, what we would probably recommend is the future challenges that we have. So the future challenges we are dealing with is climate change, right? And that is going to drive up individual energy consumption also, which will eventually mean that off-site energy generation will become necessary for cities. The second part is that our lifestyle energies are going up. Right? If you look around cities, even advertisement hoardings, earlier it was one printed banner that was put, it was lit at night.
True.
Now it is lit 24/7, right? And its energy density is about 500 watts per meter square. So every advertisement panel or a hoarding that you see is potentially geyser running there in the open. It is going to raise ambient temperatures. It is going to cause urban heat.
True.
And that is the reason why Bangalore is going
getting
to be
warmer.
Yes. And both ways you have to look, because we are dependent on an economy that requires consumption, right? And air conditioning consumption in Bangalore is booming now. And if you're going to look at an apartment block with air conditioners in every house, how much solar are you going to put? I mean, you probably run your lift only.
True.
So you will still have to rely on energy generated somewhere else.
True.
Now if you look at the physics of it, energy generated somewhere else is either wind or solar from some other region, which you transfer it to the city, consume it here. Again, that is going to get dissipated as heat. So ambient temperature is again going to go up. So that is something I don't know how we are going to deal with. But if we make it mandatory that, say, apartments 4 floors or 5 floors can be designed such that their energy requirements are met, at least the common utilities, it's going to be a challenge. And I'll give you some numbers. Today's apartment embodied energy is the energy going into the materials.
Construction of the,
They are hovering around 500 units per meter square, right? If we have to address climate change and if we have to address 2070 net zero targets, that has to come below 100, 1/5, right? Our energy densities, even operational energy, is hovering around 500 units per meter square over a building lifespan of about 50 years. That also has to come down by 1/5. Otherwise, we are not going to meet net zero targets, because we are talking of a rural population of about 50-55%.
True.
And if they are to consume what urbanites are consuming, your energy consumption is going to shoot up by 30%. 30 times, not 30%, 30 times.
True.
The third part which concerns, if you look at climate change, the third part is toxicity that we are exposed to. Talking of microplastics, we're talking of a lot of VOCs, indoor contaminants, and how are we going to deal with them? And with lead acid batteries also, if you've got a store. Now lithium has come, multiple sodium, and all of them have come. Their integration in the buildings and integrating them such that they don't contaminate indoor air is going to be a big challenge, because the synthetics in our lifestyle is very high.
So one part is the disposal of the panels, you are saying, after
disposal of panels. In fact, IASC has been, we initiated where panels can be, discarded panels can be used as building material. So what we estimated is, we actually looked at state-wise how much solar they're going to install, how much is going to get decommissioned. About 7% of housing demands can be met. And the reason is that today's economic viability of recycling and material recovery in photovoltaics is still not viable, because you don't have the scales of inflow to keep them running profitably.
Right.
So it is tough. As we are dealing with, it is tough.
So I think, and everything is a shifting target, right? So things are changing so rapidly.
Because you see, I mean, what is happening in Iran right now is affecting our kitchens, right? So everything is interconnected.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, self-sufficiency, self-reliance is best. And if that can be handled with solar, that you consume as much as you generate, the thing would be, it's a tough thing. But today we are going with economic growth, you know, I can pay for it, I can buy it.
True.
That option, I think, is too wide for every individual right now.
Right. So, Mr. Santosh, on your institution, how, I mean, you talked about skill development, right? So, how, at what stage could it, I mean, help which stakeholder, you know, either the associations, the residents, or, I mean, where do you see your institution being able to help?
Firstly, in Bangalore, we have more than 6,000 apartments. But if you look at the number of apartments which have solar installations, it's less than 5%.
True.
So why is that more number of apartments not opting for solar? Is they're lacking. Most of them they're not aware of it. So that's where our role comes into picture, where we give awareness programs. We give awareness to schools and college students, and we also give awareness to public. So if the apartment federation can visit our organization, or if they can tie up with the organizations, we can give awareness program to almost all of the apartments. So once they are aware what are the benefits that they are going to reap in by opting for solar, and once their doubts are clarified, I think this 5% can be increased. We can scale it up. So the first point is that the awareness. So that is something that has to be, in fact, this discussion forum is one such place where few of them are benefiting out of it, but this can be scaled up.
Sure.
And skill development, as they were saying, that we have plenty of targets to achieve. So for that, we require installers. Okay, and solar installation takes not a longer time, but we require skilled installers, and that's what MGID has been doing. And also, if there are engineers, I think they can also attend our programs. We offer entrepreneurship development programs on solar rooftop technology. So we have been advertising it. Mostly it's a free program that we offer, and, or there's a minimal fee, like 500 rupee. But we don't get much response from the organizations. So they can utilize it. Okay.
Great. Thank you. I think this is, I mean, this was not a resource that we knew was available. So I think, but it's a great help for sure. I think there are some questions from the audience before we go on to the policy and regulatory matters. One is, can a windmill fan be installed? So I think that has already been kind of addressed. The second question is a concern that if every individual starts installing their EV chargers with available capacity of transformer and sanctioned load, who will take the responsibility for additional load beyond the sanctioned transformer capacity and beyond the sanctioned load?
See, everyone all are going with EV chargers. First question. Yes, if it is 10 years, it may require.
Right.
At that time, many changes will be there, many regulatory aspects will be there. At present, if 5 to 6 load has come, like 3.3 kilowatt ka, that is very nominal. That is very with the load of the each individual house, 3 kilowatt load. So that doesn't require any transformer, you're putting it your diversity factor of 1.5 with the diversity factor, then the transformer will be within that limit only. At present, it doesn't come.
Is there any guideline as to what should be the diversity applied before what?
Diversity means per residential loads. All the loads will not come at a time.
Right.
Simultaneous use is not there.
Absolutely.
So therefore, we have fixed that 1.5.
1.5.
Correct.
Okay.
So if there is 150 kVA load is there,
Right.
100 kVA transformer is sufficient to take up that load.
Okay.
So for commercial and industrial, the diversity is, it is always running. So therefore, it is one only. So therefore, as Uma said, so we can definitely take care of these loads if they are coming progressively at a slower rate. 3.2 means within the sanction load of the existing building for individual houses. It can be, because mostly the vehicles will be charged during the night. The same load, which is actually sanctioned for a building. So it is sufficient to take care of that. We have allowed that also.
Right.
Yes. So if you want additional connection to the existing residential connection, then you require additional load. It will actually load the transformer, distribution transformer.
Right.
Even if it is coming, in a distribution
capacity 60 kilowatt load, and then if you're going with a capacity 60 kilowatt load, and then if you're going with a number of 120 kilowatt load, then you have to concentrate on that. How much we have to take the transformer capacity. And that load analysis also will be done by BESCOM only. We will analyze that what is the load.
And then you will guide the.
Yeah, we'll guide.
No, that's nice. That's great.
Most of the apartment owners. Correct. most of the apartments, they have actually developed, and also at their cost only this infrastructure has been built. So they are actually developed that infrastructure at their cost. So usually they, inflate that, capacity at the beginning of, application itself. If my requirement is, 100 kVA, I am, going to put up some 200 kVA transformer there. It is put up by you only, the apartment owners only.
But if you look at the demand, it might be lower.
That capacity is always there.
Right.
Even that is, charged during night only. Night, the transformer is not loaded much. It is only security lighting in the apartment. So therefore, you have sufficient, capacity available to take care of these, loads.
Right. The next one is regarding a fast charger. For installing a fast charger, should the RWA obtain a separate power line sanction for it, or can they do it with the current sanction power line? Yes, ma'am.
For the association, yes, 60 kilowatt load, that's what I'm telling. 60 kilowatt load, if your transformer is 100 kVA, then 100 kVA is only, it is designed for your apartment, individual consumers, and as well as for the association for the common area. So when it is added with the 60 kilowatt load, again you have to enhance your transformer capacity, and for the distribution system we will check. And it means before the point of connection is our distribution transformer.
Right.
We will check according to our condition required.
Okay. But for LT6 connection, there would be a separate transformer.
Yeah, LT6, no, not like that. LT6, if you want with the meter, will be LT6.
Okay.
Only for the meter thing, you will be have it designated.
So no need of investing in any other infrastructure.
That's what I told you. If you have an 100 kVA transformer in your apartment, if the 60 kilowatt load is coming
within
additional thing, then you have to increase your transformer capacity.
Right. But if it is within that,
not required.
Not required, but you would still be able to.
Yes, that we will check that whether it is required with the enhancing of the transformer.
Got it.
Meter will be different, LT6.
Okay.
But for separate connection, it is for a separate connection.
Right.
So the BESCOM officer or engineer will come and inspect that. He will check the feasibility, whether it is possible to connect additionally this meter with 60 kilowatt or 80 kilowatt. If the existing infrastructure supports that, then you may not require enhancement of that distribution transformer itself. Otherwise, it has to be enhanced. That is even at your cost only.
Right.
Or if you want an individual.
No, space is already there. Existing transformer is already there, replacing that with a higher capacity. Space is sufficient. Yeah. Really. CIG approval is required because once the transformer, new equipment is added, because CIG is the, safety keeper as per CEA regulations. So therefore, his compliance, his, safety regulations have to be complied with. Therefore, you need that only before commissioning of that. Correct. Whenever you actually enhance the transformer, that means replacing the existing transformer, lower capacity transformer with a higher capacity transformer, then also you require the permission of the chief electrical inspector, because he has to come and see whether all the safety guidelines and regulations have been complied with. So therefore, before that, you cannot charge that transformer.
Sir, another model
Excuse me.
No. That is that we have made it very clear in our order that Satish Malya knows it, Only safety, because we have also said in the order that CIG let him, take care of this, safety aspects. So, but he wrote back that, as per CEA guidelines, if it is taken care of, then we need not have to come and check again. So, individually, if electrical contractor, they are actually authorized to give a safety certificate. That is test certificate they will give. So, it is enough. Only higher equipment, that is transformer is being replaced, then only the required this CIG approval. Otherwise, no.
Right.
I want.
It is already there. It is already there. SOP clearly says that please go through it. BESCOM, it is available on the BESCOM website. Everything is clear. Only we should find time to read it.
Right.
Sir, I want to add one more thing that completes the thing. When the CPO install this, other than the association, CPO will come and install 60 kilowatt load of the transformer, charger. Then the concept is different. Okay. Whether you allow him to go with your transformer or to separate transformer, that depends on you. Okay. Because it is a business mode. Because he's coming and installing his EV charger. Right. That is the under type of the business mode. So that it is required and you have to follow. So
is there any guideline available on this piece somewhere on the BESCOM side which people can read?
Yeah, of course. Everything
on
is
model?
Website is there.
There is. Okay.
That's what I told you, the land aggregator portal, you can check it out. Everything is there.
Okay. Okay. A few questions on the policy and regulatory matters. Now we are seeing that DCR and ALMM compliance is kicking in, right, which requires all modules and cells to be of Indian manufactured, and this is to be followed from 1st June 2026. And this is increasing project cost by about 10 to 15%. That's what people are seeing. And that is the reason a lot of people are actually hesitating. Should we, are costs going to go down a bit before or should we wait? Because 10 to 15% increase in project cost is quite a bit. So where do you see this? I mean, do you see this kind of, because I think there is still a lot of demand and supply gap in terms of, readiness of infrastructure to be.
Yes, sir. It is the government's intention to go for DCR modules because they want to actually promote the local industry, indigenous industry. So they have kept the deadline as June 1. Yeah, but lot of requests have gone to the central government. Okay. Maybe we'll have to see whether they will extend this or not. Okay. I'm not sure because. So many times, this was extended. So this time, whether
they may not.
I don't know. I don't know because based on the request, based on the necessity, they may also do it. But it is purely the central government's decision. We cannot comment on that.
Right. Okay. Next is on the virtual net metering, which came up in the discussions. So what are as per this on the recent guidelines? How can, because until now, basically the association for the common area gets benefit of the solar being generated, right? So now even individual apartment owners can volunteer. It's not a mandatory thing, but they can actually co-sign onto this agreement and can take advantage of this net metering thing, right? Virtual net metering.
You actually cleared it. Uma may not agree. But as far as the KERC is concerned, domestic consumers are allowed.
Okay.
So if they are living in the apartments, she's telling because of the practical aspects.
Okay.
Technical
Sir,
aspects,
I'll tell
practical
you
aspects.
why
Okay.
service,
So domestic consumers are allowed, and group housing societies are allowed. Virtual net metering. Okay. Then government buildings are allowed. Okay. So educational institutions, that too government installations are allowed. Okay. So they have to come together. Some domestic consumers, if there are 3 to 4 consumers anywhere within the jurisdiction of ESCOM, they should come together. So they have to put up solar plant to their combined sanction load. If I have 3 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, 5 consumers coming into together, 15 kilowatt. So 15 kilowatt plant I can put up anywhere, not only on the roof, but also any place, not
offsite as well.
Offsite also.
Okay.
So that can be put up, no problem in it. So okay. So that energy generated from that plant is credited to their individual accounts. So if there is excess energy after calculation of this, okay, then it will be paid by the distribution company at the tariff fixed by the commission. Right. That is almost 75% of the solar tariff that is fixed for that. Okay. So if there is actually net drawal from the grid, as per the retail supply tariff, they will have to pay. Okay. So this is the simple, and also they came out with SOP also. We have also approved.
Okay.
So that is there. Anything extra, she will actually intervene and tell.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you that one small thing. I'll get you the answer from yourself. Virtual net metering or a virtual plant is like if you don't have any space, you're making a plant somewhere else off the location. Then you're making. So here it is rooftop. The first thing is has the apartment for a individual household consumer, whether the roof is available or it is enmarked with your enmarked within your agreement that the roof is this much roof is for you. Whether it is enmarked, no roof is allowed for each individual consumers in the agreement. So they are not the roof owners. When you come with a virtual net metering, the definition says if you don't have any space on the roof, you can go virtually to install your plant. When the roof is not allowed to the individual consumer, how they can go with a virtual net metering? That's what I was submitting with Srinivasappa sir also. This is the concept, why we are not allowing for the each individual household for this rooftop.
Okay. So it is
roof
not
is not they don't have any ownership in the agreement.
You had a perspective on that. So what was that?
Let me go by the rules of KERC. I have a perspective wherein the solution is there in both ways. So the distributed solar policy provides for this virtual net metering. That is first point. Second point is it also allows for you to put anywhere in the complex. So it is not necessarily the roof. So all the common areas of the apartment, which includes the roof, which includes your ground area at elevated 8 feet or any other place, belongs to the association. If the deed is transferred by the builder, okay, subject to that clause, if the deed is transferred by the builder, it belongs to the association. So for virtual net metering, how do you calculate the total capacity? So the rule is that it cannot exceed your sanctioned load, demand maximum, but sanctioned as per the meter. So if I have a 50 kVA sanctioned load for the common area meter, if I have, and they also allow for 3 kilowatt maximum per house. Even if you have a 5 kilowatt connection, the restriction is up to 3 kilowatt. So if there are 100 flats, it is 300 kilowatt. Plus common area, 50 kilowatt. Plus EV charging, 60 kilowatt. Subject to again transformer, I'm not getting into that part of it. That is separately there, but if your sanctioned is there. So you can go up to that. So your common area, you are only saving 50 kilowatt. But what happens to the other 300 people? So this is where the association role is important, because association is owning that land. Association owns the rooftop. Association owns everything. Association in a general body has to pass a resolution of who all are involved and eligible and want to participate in the virtual net metering. That is the legal way of going about it. Because the legality is in question with BESCOM, which is correct, because you don't own the rooftop. So association permits you. And how does the association permit? That's the next question. So you may have an apartment where somebody has a 3 kilowatt sanction load, somebody 5 kilowatt sanction load, somebody 2 kilowatt sanction load. So association goes by the participation level. Either they charge a fee for it, or they go by the sanction load for it, or they go by the maximum billing for it. So it is an association decision. It has got nothing to do with BESCOM and KERC. Association plays a role. Once you work out that signed document of every individual member, every individual member of the apartment association, that signed document is a valid legal document for getting into virtual net metering. So that is my interpretation. That is one way of looking at it. But that is one interpretation, because we checked on how do you interpret it, because it is subject to interpretation. But the association works only on the bounded by its members. So if the members are signing off, that is one. So you have excess capacity other than the common area. So you share it in the proportion you decide. That is rule. Third is they set the cluster. So you can do from outside also. So you are outside, but again you are bound by the other wheeling banking, if not, or the retail power and all, that comes. The third solution I mentioned, which is not discussed here, is the BEST. Which is again not discussed here, is the BEST.
Or maybe bring it down a little bit. Oh, is it? We changed it.
Yeah, so the third solution, so one is virtual net metering. Second, as I said, you get into the cluster, you get from outside the wheeled power. The third solution is BEST. I don't know whether you have a question on that, but I keep on repeating that. BEST is nothing but battery energy storage system without the hybrid part. A hybrid includes battery, and you're allowed to export without the battery power, but it goes under net metering. But battery power is never allowed to be exported. neither diesel power nor battery power. So BESS is without any of that, so it cannot export, but you can absorb the surplus energy coming in from the solar export. And there you are paid at the retail, you save on the retail tariff if I use it at night. So why are you even saying that my tariff should be increased? I would suggest KERC should not increase that tariff. That is my reading of it, because see, they are responsible for the whole city. They are not responsible for one individual apartment. But then apartment people can definitely invest. If you want to save money, you definitely invest, work out the payback. And if you put in energy storage, I'm giving a thumb rule calculation. Today, Government of India, 1st April 2026, under the Income Tax Act, Section 32 has been amended to bring in BESS also under the same depreciation benefit, accelerated depreciation as solar. It is added. You are getting the same accelerated depreciation as solar. So why are you worrying about all these costs and this and that? I feel that any payback which is less than 4 to 5 years, as on today, if you see the track record, BESCOM tariffs are increasing every year 5 to 7%, right? You can't prevent that. That is also the inflation also. You can't prevent diesel costs going up, but you can control what you have. So why we keep on looking at BESCOM should provide me this or KERC should be provide me this? I am not a votary at all of keeping on looking at the government. Why do you buy a car if you don't want to use public transport? Because of convenience. This is also a convenience. You want to save your bill, otherwise please go and pay BESCOM, whatever tariff they charge. So my suggestion is look at it differently. Use this virtual net metering, use solar, use energy storage. Again, I don't know whether you have a topic at all on that because we never discussed till now, but use energy storage towards future, because that is one of the points of this forum, which I understood was how do I mitigate future? 3 points of future are not discussed today, though we have the senior people from BESCOM and KERC. If not now, next year or the year after, TOD will come to Karnataka. There is no choice. Now 500 kilowatt and above HT only is having TOD. Kerala, I'm giving an example, has put TOD for residential. Evening 6 to 10, they have already implemented. Why? It is a smaller state, maybe they cannot absorb those costs. Maharashtra, different policy. Maharashtra have said, if you are generating in net metering, this includes apartments by the way, if you are generating under net metering and you do not consume the same day, the generated power, somebody mentioned install net metering only to the extent you require it. You are not allowed to carry forward to the next day. There is no carry forward or settlement. The settlement is the same day. At that time, again, you will all go and appeal to BESCOM and KERC. See, this is a society which is running and you have to manage finances. So if the finances are not managed, you have to do. So find your own solution. That is why I keep on saying this is there. So future proofing of TOD, which will happen. Future proofing the challenges of a distribution transformer. Already BESCOM has mentioned you have to invest on a distribution transformer. If you have got enough money to invest on a distribution transformer, why don't you invest on energy storage? So that is an easier solution, wherein they don't have an issue. CIG approval is required even if you put BESS. Let me clarify that. Safety, any electrical installation in a public area or anything requires a CIG approval. So you have to go by that. So put it as a combination of this solution. I don't see a reason of always cribbing saying that the costs are going up. It will go up. That is the law of nature. So as an apartment, and most of the people are apartment owners, there are solutions available. Look at the collectively as a solution. KERC have done a very good job. I don't know how many people have even read, as he correctly mentioned, go through our website. They have not even read their distributed energy, this policy. They have changed the definition from rooftop. We still talk about rooftop. I think the terminology to be used in this meeting should be distributed solar PV, not rooftop solar PV. That's my submission.
On new solutions, since Professor, you are here, what are the new stuff that you see coming which will probably solve some problems that are upcoming as well?
It's a tough one, but I think individual initiatives to reduce energy consumption.
Energy conservation is, I think, key, right? Yes. So that's not given enough.
Yes.
Energy conservation, that is the first fail, as they say.
Yeah, but efficiency and effectiveness are two different things. Right. Effectiveness is when your net per capita energy consumption goes down.
Right.
Efficiency has actually made things cheaper. You consume more. Is what is called the rebound effect. So it is making things more accessible to you. But I think effectively one needs to look at looking at a simpler life, having time for yourself.
Right.
That's all.
Okay. One last question on this was, there is a cap of 500 kilowatt in terms of, where the subsidies can be given, and that applies to a small society as well as to a large society. We recently had one of our member associations where they have 3,000 apartments, that L&T South City. They also had this cap of 500. So is that not limiting?
Sir, MNRE has given the subsidy till 500 kilowatt. So we approached MNRE also to enhance this from 500 to 1000 kilowatt. So MNRE has said that is a midterm. We will check it and we are trying.
That is under consideration.
Yeah, under consideration. Okay. We are trying, and this year maybe we request once again. We already requested so many times. During any meeting times, we will request our joint secretary also, and we'll come with that.
Right. Thank you. So I think with that we have covered most of the questions. There were a few generic questions as well, which are more on the basics of how do we use, solar generation, questions on EV charging, which I think a lot of those answers lie on the BAF site also. We will send you those links to everybody who has registered. So yeah, so that would be done, and we would also take in certain inputs from where these resources lie within the KERC as well as with BESCOM. So we'll probably also share those links along with the people who have registered. So with that, I close this panel discussion. I thank you very much for each of your presence and valuable inputs. So, and a big thank you to all the people who have actually asked so many questions and very detailed, and which was very insightful, I think, for all of us here attending it. Thank you so much.
A heartfelt thank you to our panelists for a truly engaging and insightful discussion. Your perspectives have deepened our understanding of sustainable energy and inspired us to think collectively about building cleaner and more resilient energy systems. May I now request representatives from Bengaluru Science and Technology Cluster and the Bangalore Apartment Federation to kindly present mementos to our panelists as a token of appreciation. Shri Srinivasappa.
Some people have stalls, so those are.
Srimati Uma
If
Hitchem.
there is somebody who doesn't have a stall and would like to interact, we can check with them and can guide them to us.
Professor Montomani. Mr. Srinivas Kumar. Mr. Santosh Kumar. And to Mr. Partha Kundu. I now invite all our dignitaries to kindly join us for the group photo.
Datri is there. Datri is AGM, and as well as the EV team is there. Madam is there. Ansuya Madam, Vijay and Rahman is there. Any questions are required, like where I'm not reachable, you can reach our team also. Please, my team can join us.
Please come. Please come. Vijay sir.
Yeah, I have Revankar sir with me, who is from Balak Solar, who has more than 40 years of experience in this industry. So He's here with us. So the apartment of Federation, I think you can interact with him and he'll be able to clear all your doubts. So I also request him to join us.
Networking went down. There it is. Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. As we move forward, we now transition into an exciting segment of today's program, the Flash Talks. These are short, high-impact presentations that spotlight innovative ideas, emerging solutions, and real-world applications in the field of sustainable energy. Each speaker will offer a quick yet insightful perspective, giving us a glimpse into the diverse approaches shaping the futures of energy. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ankit Hebbar, Senior Associate with the Green Mobility Group at Center for Study of Science, Technology and Policy, who works on advancing sustainable transport and clean mobility solutions.
Which is the one? Right, next. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So, honestly, that panel talk was really insightful, and I'm sure it was quite loaded with a lot of information that we all will take back. So, the presentation here that I'm going to be presenting is more from the point of view of a common man, right? Like one of the panelists mentioned that 5% of the apartments have rooftop, which means, or distributed solar. I think that's the term we'll have to use from today. So if 5% of them have the rooftop, there's a potential of 95% remaining. And what I hear from a lot of colleagues and friends who live in apartments is that there is a certain resistance to adoption of electric or for adoption of solar. So I have a short and brief presentation with simple numbers to sort of make a case for why we need to have renewable energy for to power our charging needs. So yeah. So this is not a presentation that is pointed towards experts. I have made a lot of simple examples and a lot of generalizations. So for example, EVs are extremely popular, and by 2030, 1 in 5 electric vehicles in your parking lots, 1 in 5 vehicles in your parking lots are probably going to be electric. So what does this mean in terms of energy? What does this mean in terms of power, right? If you have a two-wheeler and you're charging a two-wheeler, it looks something like you're using an iron box for a couple of hours. A bigger car which consumes more electrical energy, it looks like you're using a couple of ACs for 2 or 4 hours to charge it overnight. So if a typical house consumes about 5 units of electricity in a day, having a couple of EVs at your home will increase this energy consumption and power demand by roughly 2 times. Don't go by the numbers for the experts here. But yeah, I'm just showing a comparative example. So on the environmental side, right, EVs are going to reduce your carbon emissions by 1.4 million tons. So if you look at it in terms of petrol, right, that's about 80 crore liters of petrol that is avoided being burnt, right? But our grid still runs on about 50% coal. So therefore, we still have a potential of mitigating 0.6 million tons of CO2 from emitting per year, which if I compare it in petrol terms, that comes out to be 20 crore liters of petrol, right? So what is the solution for all of these things? I mean, the solution is right above us or right around us. That's your rooftops. At C-Step, we looked at the rooftop space of Bengaluru. And what we found that is across homes, apartments, and commercial buildings, if these rooftops have solar and a good part of your city, for a couple of hours, 3-4 hours in a day on good days, the entire city of Bangalore could run on solar. So while this is at the city level, what does this mean at an individual level? So if you were to cover your rooftop with 50% of solar, and that's going to meet most of your electricity needs. So this does not mean that you just go with 50%. You could increase it further, and like a lot of the panelists pointed out, it could be peer-to-peer trading. It could be a lot of the other opportunities that are coming up. You could also have a potential revenue stream, not from net metering, but from P2P. So using EVs, by the way, could reduce your cost of charging by 50%. So how does that work? Let's take a look. So if you have roughly a typical apartment with about 100 homes, and let's say you're going to convert about 10 to 20% of your parking lots into electric charging spots, then the cost that you're going to be looking at is like 12 to 20 lakhs for that scale to satisfy with 100% renewable energy. So the cost you're going to be bearing for charging those EVs, if it's purely from the grid, right, including your fixed costs and cess, etc., that's going to come out to be about 8 rupees. But if you were to go with an EV, even if it's like a managed solution, it could come down as low as 4 rupees per unit of electricity. So that's the 50% reduction in cost that I'm speaking about. I know that 12 to 24 lakhs looks like a lot, but we'll have to look at the long term. You will make a massive long-term upside for a short-term effort that you'll have to put. So with this point in mind, what is it that apartments can do? So first, you start small. You don't go big on day one. So you can start small by enabling about 10 to 20% of your parking lots with electric. This is going to sort of cater to that 1 out of 5 EVs in 2030 that I spoke about. Now, explore rooftop solar over time, because solar will always be cheaper than grid electricity, right? Purely because, like they mentioned, you don't have those transmission losses and whatnot. So when you look at it over a couple of decades, right, this 50% savings in electricity cost is going to compound. And it's not just about savings. So if you look at if you were to look at the excess solar that you can sell, right, peer-to-peer trading that is being enabled. In a lot of pilot projects, a lot of people were able to sell mutually to the neighboring industries, etc., for about 4 to 5 rupees, like we have observed in UP. So that's another upside that we have. And all of this, you don't have to do it alone. There are managed services, in the sense that you don't have to put up your upfront cost today. Go for managed services where there are a lot of companies that will come in, put up your solar, maybe you could have a rent sharing, you could rent out your space, or you could have a revenue sharing agreement, so that the entire load of that capex does not fall on you. And you'll have to basically go in a scalable manner, starting small with 10 to 20% of your parking lots and equivalent amount of solar PV. And I think over time you will be convinced with the benefits to go full. Yeah, so thank you. That's my presentation.
Thank you, Ankit. Our next speaker is Mr. Lingaraj Dini from the LVBL Accelerator, working on innovative solutions in the clean energy and sustainability space.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity for me to come here and speak about a new idea as well. So we spent a lot of time discussing about solar PV, EVs and all. And so I myself, Dini, I am currently part of a venture studio, sustainability venture studio called Livable Accelerator. And I'm also part of a consulting organization working on energy, water, waste management called again Resource Labs. Apartments have faced a lot of challenges. I think currently if you ask me what is the key challenge that apartments are facing, one of the key issues that they're facing is how do they manage their waste. If you ask apartments right now what is their primary issue right now they're facing, the issue of BSWML having a new tariff on bulk generators and how do they manage their waste and how much should they pay for the authorized processors and what can they do in situ is a big question. So I have a few slides which I want to show, and one of the things I want to propose is an idea of how do you actually generate energy out of waste, right? So when I spoke to the BeST organizers, I said what is being covered in the whole discussion. This mostly was on solar and EV. I said why not also look at biogas, and that's it's a nascent technology in the sense that it's been happening very much in rural India. A lot of biogas plants exist for generation from biomass and from manure and everything else. But even in urban contexts also, biogas can be a useful way to manage your waste and also generate energy and power. We're just facing some issues with this. Presently, I think if you look at the waste management technologies, mostly in situ are essentially composting. That's a great way to manage your waste. But composting requires in terms of the space, right? You need space to manage it, and there are issues in terms of, there could be issues of segregation. You need to ensure segregation is at least 80-90% above. Same is it biogas also. And then you need to also manage because it's, and the process to convert waste into compost takes about 40 to 50 days if you do the right way, right? Biogas can help you to speed up the process, right? So I'm just trying to propose a way to also look at biogas as a way to offset your energy costs and look at sustainability as well. So yeah, I think basically the kind of things happening right now is that the rules for bulk waste generators apartments have changed. You need to look at in situ management. If not in situ, then you have to pay a higher cost for the waste processors. We at the city are facing issues in managing waste. It's not a specific issue of the apartments, but landfills are full, and the city is actually trying to find out large integrated waste management plants, as they call it, but they essentially end up being landfills, right? And the costs of picking up from the waste process are increasing. I think the current rate they have given is something like 12 rupees per kg, right? Which is a very large sum, and I think there are debates even at the government side, and BAF also is trying to see how do we look at a lower cost, because that should reflect the actual cost of transportation and processing at the processor's end, right? With that, the context, what can we do differently? Can we do something differently? So if you look at it in terms of the broad cost, broad thing is that generally each flat may be generating about 500 grams of wet waste per day, right? And it is possible to convert that into a biogas. This is I've just put the LPG cylinder equivalent of what it can generate, right? And because now because the current energy issues that you're facing, LPG cylinder is a good equivalent to talk about what you can essentially save, right? So a 50 apartment flat, 100 apartment flat can generate 50 kg of wet waste, and that can generate equivalent of biogas of about 50 to 65 kg, which is around 4 to 5 cylinders per month. And going up to 1,500 flats can generate about 1,300 kg of LPG, which is equivalent to around 90 cylinders, right? That's the potential. And if you look at the land requirement also is not very huge, right? It can go up from 60 square feet for a 50 apartment flat to around 750 square feet. This is pretty much about maybe 8 or 10 car parks, not more than that, right? Simple process, wet waste goes in. Many of you know about biogas plant, but I'm just trying to talk about the footprint, the risks associated with the biogas plant, challenges and all. That's what I wanted to focus on. So one is the wet waste goes in, shredded, pulverized, sealed digester. Nothing is exposed to the air because it's an anaerobic system. So nothing is, there's no issue of any gases or anything coming out. And you generate methane, and that is converted into energy, right? You can generate biogas. Biogas is mostly methane. 50% is methane, and further purify it using purifiers and gas extraction purifiers, and that you can make it to 80-90% of methane. And then you also generate biomanure. So once you put 100 kg of wet waste, about 45-50 kg is manure, which can be used for applying in plants or even selling it to outside. Right? That's the broad idea. And nowadays the biogas plants are fully automated. You don't have to really worry about monitoring it daily. There are SCADA systems. There are mechanisms to measure the gas generation and ensure once it generates a certain volume, what can it do with the gas. You can actually look at few ways of looking at it. This is a typical what happens. Pre-treatment digest. Pre-treatment is essentially pulverizing digester. You generate gas in a balloon, and then you generate slurry, and that goes to biomanure. Further purification generates this bio-CNG, which is a compressed natural gas, right? There are other ways of looking at, since we spoke about how can you generate energy. So one is to use the gas. If you have a clubhouse or some kind of a facility in your apartment, the gas can be used for using there in that facility. If not, it's also possible to generate power from the biogas. There are a couple of facilities in Bangalore itself where biogas is converted through a generator into power, and that power is synchronized to the grid again, just like solar PV, right? And this same benefits it's like a grid integrated mechanism, right? So that is there, and few apartments and complexes in Bangalore have it. You can also compress the gas and put in cylinders and sell it to retail, say canteens or restaurants in the community, because each cylinder is right now around 3,000, 4,000 rupees for commercial cylinders, right? So even that is a viability. There are plants right now in the city where they are actually compressing the biogas generator and sending it to restaurants, right? It can be done even smaller units also. And of course, bio-CNG filling station may not be viable in apartments because that requires a certain scale, right? You need to reach at least 20-30 tons per day of a plant, right? But apartments may generate maximum 1 ton or 2 tons of wet waste. Yeah, so basically the kind of idea was that you are avoiding costs on the waste disposal side, because that's a big challenge for apartments right now. At the same time, you replace LPG and generate power by putting up a gas to energy generator. And you generate biofertilizer also. You can apply the biofertilizer to your horticulture and other gardening requirements, right? So yes, so what can you do next if you're interested, right? So one is we need to ensure that there is adequate volume of wet waste. The critical point here is segregation of wet waste. There is no second thought about it. You need at least 80% segregation of wet waste to look at anything like this. Whether it's a composting, whether it's a biogas plant, anything else, you need to have good segregation to ensure these plants run efficiently. Nowadays, these plants do not have sensitivity to others. There are a lot of citrus and other things can come in. There is no issue with these plants right now. This can take all kinds of feeds. The technology has improved significantly in the last, I would say, decade or so. Multiple types of waste can go into the biogas plant and the fully automated plants, and there is a monitoring of the gas generation. Because you generate more CO2 than methane, then the plant is not viable. So you need to ensure that you generate adequate amount of methane in a good quality so that it is viable in terms of energy generation. Right? Footprint, the footprint is not large. I said 60 square feet to 750 square feet, up to 1,000 flats, right? You need some water access to kind of for the digestion. And gas use point, where do you use the gas generator, or can you generate energy and put it to the grid or consume it? In fact, you can even synchronize it with your DG, right? Even the DG can actually take this gas. In fact, it's much better because it's a clean gas. There is no, for example, diesel generators have a lot of maintenance issues in terms of doing checks and all other things. Gas generators are much more resilient in terms of lower maintenance costs. So that is the advantage of looking at this. So how can you do? You can do a waste audit and an energy audit to understand what is your current waste generation. Energy mapping, what do you require energy and where can you use generated gas. Space feasibility, plant sizing, and different models of looking at this. One could be CapEx, there are also OpEx possibilities, and where can you use your generated energy. And then of course presenting to your committee and your GBA. Right? So I just wanted to give a high level view of the potential of biogas plants. They're happening right now. Compared to say solar and other things, they're not in the top radar, but looking at the current waste generation challenges that the city faces and the apartments face, this could also be a viable addition to your energy resilience, right? That's what I wanted to leave this thought with the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before we conclude, we are delighted to share that the next episode in the public lecture series will be held on May 30th, where we'll explore the important theme of urban farming. We warmly invite you to join us and continue this journey of conversations on sustainable urban living. We also encourage you to visit the stalls and community showcase exhibits in the lobby to experience sustainability in action. And do join us for the networking tea, where conversation can continue and new ideas and connections can take shape. Thanks a lot.